Thank you for joining, whether you are live and in person, online, live, replay. It's all good to have you here in any capacity. So thank you for that. Dave, you had asked some questions as we were getting started, so let me go ahead and answer those. My name is Julie. I am the wellness mentor and nutrition coach at Strength and Honor Training and Nutrition here in Simsbury, Connecticut. We are a small boutique gym that does have a primary focus on elite athletes, but we offer our wellness program to athletes and adults alike so that we can branch out into the community. So everything we do primarily for adults is going to be virtual. So you can access it anytime, anywhere, makes it super convenient for you to fit it into your life. And that's really what our programs are all about. So before we start here and dive in, I also want to give a shout out. Katrina, I don't know if you are with us yet online. I know you're solo mom duty tonight, but Katrina Potter has been kind enough to give us some great samples and a lovely door prize of doTERRA oils. So Katrina is a holistic coach and she specializes in essential oils. She provides education to the community on how to target common health concerns, how to use those oils, and how to incorporate them into your life. So Katrina and I often partner together because there's so much synergy between what we do. So thank you, Katrina. And also I want to give a shout out to Element, LMNT. Element sponsored our event. They are a tasty electrolyte drink that is formulated to help anybody with their electrolyte needs and perfectly suited to folks on keto, low carb, or paleo. I love their motto. It's stay salty. And their drink is, but it works. So before I start diving in here, any other questions either in the room? Kim is kind enough to monitor the chat both on Facebook and on Zoom. So if you do have a question, feel free to jump in, interrupt, type it in the chat box, and we'll get them answered. Okay, all right. So here we are. Thanksgiving is past, Christmas is upon us, the holiday season arrives faster and faster, it seems like every single year. So the first thing I want to do is just ask you, like, when you think about the holidays, what comes to mind? You guys are getting there, I like it. Right? Like, let's not leave the elephant in the room. Food, stress, and then of course we have our family, our friends, and food and stress. So thinking about that hustle and bustle and the stress and the late nights and the food, particularly treats. It's like sugar fest. Everywhere you look, it's like, oh, another tempting cookie. Or, hey, let's just have one more drink, right? So temptations are all around us. That's what makes this time of year really difficult. And for a lot of us, we work on our health and wellness throughout the year. Maybe we dabble in it, maybe we're committed, but for some reason, this time of year always derails us. So the beauty about what we're going to talk about today is how you can still enjoy all of the things you love about the holidays and stay on track or get started with your health and wellness goals. So again, my name is Julie. I will be guiding you through this presentation. Give a shout out to Kim for running my chats for me and helping us find this space so that we could gather together, which is still feeling new and different. So thank you guys for coming out, and we hope to do more of these in the future. All right, let's dive in. So I told you a little bit about Strength and Honor just as a brand overall. Thinking about our philosophies and what we believe in, we believe that being healthy starts with a holistic approach. So yes, fitness and nutrition, they're absolutely part of that puzzle. But to totally define wellness, we also need to look at sleep, stress management, your lifestyle, your support, your mindset. All of these things come together, each of these elements, to really build the healthy human that we all strive to be. So our job is definitely to help people lose weight. That's the main reason people do come to us. But our mission is to optimize your health for long-term results. Our programs are not a 30 pounds in 30 days. They are a marathon, not a sprint. We're in it for the long haul because that's how lives get changed. All right, so our nutrition program is backed by Healthy Steps Nutrition. So Healthy Steps Nutrition is a program and a company. We leverage their app and also their team of registered dietitians. The foundation of their program has helped 35,000 people around the globe change their lives. The stories that you see up here are all people in our local community that I have worked with. And you can see they are varying ages, they are varying genders, they're all at different points. So why does it work? How can one program suit everybody? Because it's individualized for you. Diets, trends, restriction, we don't fit in a box. Everybody's needs are different. Everybody's goals are different. And that's why we can work with the broad spectrum of people. So any questions there before I move on? Good. Okay. So so we'll switch into holiday mode, right? So I want you all first to think about like how many of you have ever felt derailed or challenged during the holiday season, or how many of you have gained weight? I got to show of hands unanimously in the room, online. Anybody on Facebook Live, if there's anybody out there, give a me, type me in the comments, give a thumbs up, right? It's easy. You're not alone. You guys just saw that in here and online. We're all in this. We're all in it together. And guess what? There's actually scientific evidence that proves why this happens. So there was a scientific review done that studied various people over the course of the holiday season, and they classify the holiday season as Thanksgiving to 2 weeks after New Year's. I don't know if that's still the stress of all the returns you then have to do or eating leftovers, but it extends that far. Exactly. Now we got to do the other side of the family. So in this review, the study found that common people, the ones sitting in this room, are likely to gain on average 2.2 pounds in that time frame. Right? That's kind of bonkers. So even more crazy is people who are actively trying to lose weight still will gain on average a half a pound to a pound. Crazy. So if most people are aiming to lose weight and not gain it, you're probably sitting here going, so how are we going to make the holidays enjoyable and stay on track? This is where our 5 goals come into play. So for those of you who printed out the workbook, I encourage you to follow along in there, write stuff out as we're going through. If you don't have a workbook, that's okay. You can either pull it up and jot it down on a piece of paper. It is in the calendar invite. And for anybody who didn't register and maybe didn't get the email invite in time, I can send it out after along with the free recipe ebook that I'll be sharing with you all. So, ready to dive in? Tip number 1, remember your why. So part of my why is my family. I want to be healthy for them. I want to be here for them. I want to be in the right mindset and space for them. So that's why I chose the picture of my family. That is the tip of the iceberg for my why. So behind every goal, there's an emotion. And for those of you who work with me, you know this. We talk about this all the time. In order to achieve our goals, we need to have an emotional connection to them. So it's really easy to say, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds. Okay, why? Well, I have these clothes that I used to wear and I look good in them. All right, so you've got to lose 10 pounds, you've got clothes you want to wear, and what would that third reason be? Anybody take a guess? More energy, more confidence. Those are things I hear. Feel better in my skin, feel better overall, right? So when we start to break down that why, it's kind of like a little kid, but why? But why? But why? Or it's my child who wants to go somewhere and, but why can't I? But why can't I? Sorry to call him out. I actually think he's watching. So when we're able to break them down, they actually work as really great motivators, right? So using that same example, I want to lose 10 pounds. Why? So I can fit into the clothes that are in the back of my closet. Why are those clothes important? I see pictures of myself wearing them and I look good. Why is wearing those clothes and looking good important? If I lose 10 pounds and fit back into my clothes, I will be more comfortable, confident, and energetic in my own skin. Okay, so the goal is to continuously check in on your why. So again, for those of you who work with me, these are the goals we set. You're going to lose weight along the way. You're going to gain muscle along the way. But really, to change you as a person, we need to tap into that emotional connection to what's going on. So I want to pause for a second, and in your workbooks or on a scrap piece of paper, I want you to write down just your initial thought of why. But then I want you to do it 3 times. So why, and why. I'm going to give just about like a minute. So you're probably not going to get all the way through it, but start the exercise, take it home with you. And if you get stumped or you want someone to review it, let me know. Send it to me. You all have my email now. You can follow us on social. It's all on your papers and in this presentation. But go ahead and take a minute there to jot that down. About 5 more seconds. Okay. And like I said, I encourage you to go back. If you didn't finish, do it tonight. Don't sit on it. Don't wait. Finish them up tonight. So once you uncover and understand your why, write it down somewhere in a condensed form, right? So take your thoughts and bullet point them out. Use it as a symbol, as a reminder. So if it is a goal, like if you're going on vacation to Hawaii, because I want to, maybe draw palm trees or, a pineapple or a volcano. Well, so if it is an outfit you want to fit into, put it on every week. See how your changes are working. Keep it in the front of your closet. Keep it in front of your mind. When we think about the things, when we see them, when we write it down, our brains prioritize it for us. So it's actually a nifty little scientific trick. So put it on your fridge, keep it in your car, on your computer screen, somewhere you'll see it. And again, like this is something that we do on an ongoing weekly basis with our clients. This is what our conversations stem from. We use them to look back because a lot of times in life, we need to look back to move forward. Or if we are feeling like, man, I'm losing traction, well, let's go back to that why. You don't want to lose that momentum. You don't want to lose that. We're climbing a mountain. We're not here to go backwards. We're going forwards. Okay. Tip number 2, buzzword, consistent. As silly as it sounds, consistency really is key. And consistency can look different for everybody. Again, that's why building in small habits over time that match you, your lifestyle, and your family are what make this successful, because the plan and the program are catered to you. So there is no magic long-term success pill, right? It's not just like, oh, here, take this and you're automatically better for the rest of your life. You have to have consistency in your actions to create that long-lasting result. So our habits become routines, routines become daily activities, and then we're doing stuff without even thinking about it. That's our life. So even during the season of travel and treats and gathering, you can still have consistency. I'm going to give you a couple pro tips on how to create them in this chaotic moment, but then you can also use them day to day in the less stressful times as well. Is there less stressful times? Like, I feel like it's stress and more stress, right? It's kind of like, oh, I'm stressed and then I'm more stressed, right? But anyway, working in the moment, not waiting to start makes sense, because if you can do it in the chaos, you can do it in the calm. So first tip, block out time on your calendar to stay active. Daily body movement. And start with a small goal, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and work up from there. Showing up consistently, 5 minutes a day is better than not showing up at all because you put some hard expectation on yourself. And this could look like walking the halls at work, going up and down your stairs if you want, right? It can be creative ways just to move your body. Next, block out time on the calendar to plan what you're going to eat for the week, right? Meal prep, meal prep, meal prep. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. There are really simple ways to set yourself up for success for that. But having that plan in place takes the guesswork out. So you're going to stay on track. The likelihood of you grabbing a pizza is going to be reduced or fast food. Not that we have much of a choice for fast food in Simsbury, but if we drive our kids around enough, we'll find something. So again, staying consistent now will then help you stay consistent during holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, birthdays, into the summer when the parties start up all over again. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but just consistency now helps later. So if this is something you struggle with and you're open to it, I'd love to hear from the people in the room, or if anybody online wants to put it in the chat, people on Facebook Live, write struggle or write what your struggle is. And we'll either address the comments now, or I'll go back to the comments after, and we can talk through it. So don't be afraid to share. If you share, I can help. We've got great tips and tricks, and it would be a shame to keep them all to myself. So, anybody in the room tried meal prepping?
Yeah, meal prep is hard.
What makes it hard for you?
Finding the time,
Mm-hmm.
blocking out that time. You're right, it's blocking out that time. It's a Sunday afternoon and we cook for that. It's only two of us now, so sometimes that's harder to cook for two than it is for a whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
my husband doesn't eat well, so.
well, who does the cooking? So maybe he will eat well.
That's what he eats.
Right? So, but there's different ways, right? So you don't have to say, okay, here's 6 meals and I'm cranking them all out. You could very simply say, I'm going to bulk prep some protein. So at least I have my protein done, right? Meal prepping could be, I'm going to the freezer section and buying some veggies. So again, working with somebody one-on-one, we can identify those things. You're a household of 2. You have a husband who's a picky eater, not the best eater. Cool. Let's work around it, right? Your family, you work, you have a daughter, she's homeschooled, she works, your wife works outside of the house. We created a plan where they're all involved because they're like literally like an amazing family, like gold star. I know you, and I know people not in the room can't see, but trust me. And it's different, right? So Jasmine's world looks a little bit differently because she's running out the door to work very early in the morning. But we're able to instill those smaller habits to get them prepared for the week. And now we're working on the weekend. So thank you for sharing. All right, so the last thing to stay consistent with is your sleep. So this one came to me much later in life. I was definitely a night owl, took after my mom. God rest her soul, she never slept. She just didn't. And she could go for hours and days and function. I could for a while until I couldn't. And now I value my sleep as one of my top priorities. So when we aren't getting enough sleep, this is going to lead to our decreased abilities to digest the foods that we've eaten. And especially during the holiday time when we're eating kind of closer to bed and all that kind of stuff, it's going to interrupt how we process that food, how we recover overnight, and how we're ready for the next day. I don't know about you guys, but like I hear all the time from my clients, like I feel more inflamed, I feel more bloated when I don't sleep. Why? Your body's not recovering from that. So the goal here, I'm not going to be like 10 hours. No, I mean, sure, if you can, but at least 6 hours, very bare bone minimum, 6 hours of sleep. And if you struggle with that based on some facial reactions, which is what I'm laughing at, let me know. Again, there's tips and strategies, there's wind down routines. There's lots of great ways that we can create a special moment for you to unwind and to get that much needed sleep. I will guarantee and put money on it that when you start sleeping regularly, your life will be different. Your cravings will be decreased. Your energy will be up. And all of a sudden, you're going to feel like, I'm getting so much more done in the day. You probably are. All right. So we've talked a little bit about planning already, right? We talked about meal prepping. We talked about planning for your sleep. So now we're going to kind of bring it together into what planning ahead looks like a little bit deeper. So a goal without a plan is really just a wish. So if we don't put something in play, if we don't create a linear path, the likelihood of us reaching that goal is significantly reduced. So this time of year, any time of year, really, it's hard to stay on track, and it's easy to let your health and fitness be the things to slip by. I don't have time. I have to run around. I have to get this gift. My kid has to go to this concert. We allow life to interrupt us. But what happens if you prioritize that and then you're that much better in those areas in your life, right? So just pause for a moment and inside your heads, or if you want to jot it somewhere in a note section, describe what your life looks like if you're actually going on all cylinders. You're able to check boxes and not see shiny objects and squirrels everywhere around you. So by having a plan, you're gonna set yourself up for success. Plan out the meals and snacks for a week. And they don't all have to be homemade. There's lots of good snack options out there that can be pre-made. There's RX bars here in the back. One of my go-tos, half a bar and some fruit, beautiful. So it can be as easy or as complicated as we allow it to become. So for those of you that do travel, do you guys ever like pack your cars with stuff? Like, and I don't know if Tina's on the line. Tina just got back from a crazy road trip where she did a stellar job preparing. But like, if you're out and about for a day on a weekend, are you guys throwing anything in the car? What do you take?
I take protein bars, water, things that I can. Gluten-free, and I'm pre-diabetic, so.
Okay.
I watch what, that just mandates kind of how I do that.
Right.
But we always have something, so we don't stop at. Fast food or I have something and they may drive through, but I'm like, I'm good, I have mine.
I got this. How about you, Kim?
I oftentimes do like cut veggies, stuff like that. I'll have like carrot sticks and stuff like that. The RX bars, I love those. Sometimes like beef jerky, something that's, shelf stable, but has a lot of protein and stuff.
Protein.
And that's because you told me protein.
Wait, I'm sorry, Kim, wait, did you just say I told you protein?
Like, you're not eating enough.
One of my famous lines is you're not eating enough, period. Like, I mean, that's not just to Kim, that's to like, I'm gonna go with 100% of the people I talk to, which is crazy, right? Hey, eat more, lose weight. No, really, it works. Trust the process. So those are good choices. I also like applesauce pouches, tuna pouches. So I have severe allergies. My sister and I took a 12-day road trip in her RV, and there were days we obviously could prepare food in the trailer, but then there was other days that we were like driving. We would find a grocery store. I would buy a bag of lettuce, a pouch of tuna, dump it in, and eat my salad out of a bag. Right? So again, doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to take hours, can be simple. So if you are hitting the road or traveling, be sure to plan ahead. Go to the grocery store, stock up on stuff. Personally, I keep a snack bag in my car because I like to eat and I like to eat often. So keep them with you. It will help you stay on track. So remember we talked about staying consistent even at like holiday parties, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. So what did I actually mean by that? I'm gonna tell you. One of the biggest mistakes, and we just talked about this, Kim, and people online, feel free to unmute and jump in honestly at any time or put things in the comments, like interact. We'd love to hear from you too. Hopefully you can hear the questions in the room. If you can't, let me know and I'll repeat them. Can you hear okay? All right, cool. So now we're going to talk about a mistake. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is saving up for that big meal. So I'm going to skip breakfast, lunch, and any snacks, and I'm just going to feast at dinner. Anyone done that? Ooh, no date?
I was ready.
I'm just going to Guilty, guilty. Right? So people online, give me a shake, give me a nod. Anybody done that? All right. So, anybody watching later or whatever, feel free to write it in the comments. I'll come back and I'll comment to it. So what happens when we skip our meals is that we're actually starving our bodies, and we're going to enter dinner feeling so hungry, and we're going to crave, and we're not going to crave protein or vegetables. We're going to want carbohydrates. We're going to want sugar because we're crashed and we need that quick pick me up. That wasn't even a party and Dave happened. Told you he was guilty. So not only are we going to crave those foods, but we're going to likely, with really great confidence, overconsume them as well. So instead, plan out your balanced meals like you would any other day. Breakfast, lunch, and a couple of snacks. Focus on your proteins and your vegetables. So for me, especially, I'm a breakfastaholic. I love breakfast, favorite meal of the day, hands down. I like to kind of get everything worked in together. So I will make omelets loaded with veggies. Here's a meal prep tip for you. When you're slicing peppers to use as a snack, dice some up so that you have them for your omelets as well. I do that all the time. It's 2 for 1. Mushrooms, spinach, you name it. And usually a little bit of sweet potato even in there. I've got everything I need and it's delicious. So if you stay consistent on this routine, if you keep the mindfulness that you're building around your day-to-day, you'll be able to approach that meal just like any other meal. Is it special because it's a holiday? Of course. Sit back, relax, enjoy it. Carry that same mindfulness that you use day-to-day into that meal as well. Speaking of portions, the plate method. Anybody? I know some of you in the room and online have heard of the plate method. Anybody not working with me heard of the plate method? Some nods. Why?
I've done wellness. Employee.
We have.
The plate method.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are, what you're making for dinner, if you're going out to dinner, if you're going to a friend's house for dinner, keep the plate method in mind. It's easy to take a look at the image, make a mental note of it. Heck, take a picture of the screen if you want. But you can carry this image with you anywhere. So the plate method is exactly what it looks like on the screen here. So we've got a half of our plate full of non-starchy veggies, a quarter lean protein, and a quarter starchy carb with a little amount of fat, about the thumb size amount of fat. So if you can remember tips 2 and 3, you should be good going into any holiday. You're going to be fueled. You're going to be mindful. When you step up to the counter, or if it's, buffet or you're ordering or somebody plated it for you, rearrange that plate to match what you want it to. And just, work to recreate that picture in your head. So, pro tips for when you sit down. When you do sit down, whether you've put your food on your plate, you've ordered it, or somebody plated it for you, start with the non-starchy veggies first. Move to your protein. End with the starchy carb. Carbs are good. I repeat, carbs are good. So many people come to me saying, well, I'm low carb, I'm no carb. Oh, I'm sorry, you shouldn't be. Let's talk about that and see what it does or doesn't do for you. But something I say all the time is I love to help people find freedom in their food. Freedom to eat all the foods that are out there, but do it with knowledge. So back to this, veggies first, protein, and save the starchy carb to the end. Here's the other thing. As a society, we tend to eat kind of fast, and we're not always mindful of our bites. And I'm not telling you to sit there for 45 minutes by any stretch of the means, but our brain takes 15 minutes to catch up to our belly. So when you're running back up, you haven't given your body a chance to be like, hey, I'm actually okay. If you sit, if you wait, and you really truly are hungry, grab some more veggies, grab some more protein. Tip number 5, staying mindful. Mindfulness is one of my favorite words, and it truly applies in a variety of ways when we're talking about our health and wellness. You heard me just say, one of my passions is to help people find freedom with food. So many clients come to me saying that they have a bad relationship with food, or that they don't even know what to call it, but they know that they've lived in a restrictive and binge life cycle. So we know that restrictive diets and mindsets are not sustainable. And it leads to yo-yo dieting, right? How many people, I've tried this diet, I've tried that diet, I'm a dietaholic. It's because we're restricting. So why does it happen? This actually makes me giggle every time I talk about it. So I don't know how many people have kids in the room, on the phone. I do. We were all kids at one point in time, right? So remember when you were a kid and somebody was like, hey, don't do that, or you can't do that. I don't know about everybody else, but I was kind of hyper focused and I did it anyway. Probably more than I would have if you didn't tell me not to do it. So it's the same thing in this environment. If we're constantly telling ourselves, no, 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 don't eat that pie, don't eat that cookie. If we make blank statements like, I'm going to eat no sugar, I'm going to eat no carbohydrates, we're going to think about it more. So those cravings are going to be at the top of our mind. And then we're going to give in. Then we're going to overindulge, which is also known as binging. Then we're not going to feel so good about ourselves. And the cycle will continue. So, anybody here try fad diets or anything restrictive? Yeah, online people. No, it's okay. Facebook people, feel free to comment. I'm going to keep saying that until somebody's on Facebook watching. It's hard. Our society actually sets us up for failure with this. There's so much confusing information out there. And really the bottom line is you have to find what works for you. That's the focus of what we do. So who doesn't love a great treat? I do. Even being gluten-free, dairy-free, maybe even egg-free sometimes. Not because I want to be, but because I have to be at times. But seriously, regardless of if you have allergies, don't have allergies, treats are great and they should be included. So have it and move on. Don't look back and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I ruined everything. It's a treat. It's one sitting. How many days in the week are there? How many meals of each in each day, right? When you add that up and you look at that, if you're balancing your life and enjoying those moments are pretty small, few and far between. So have your sweets in moderation, enjoy them for what they're worth. Don't eat them because you feel like, oh my God, this is my time to indulge. Don't skip them and deprive yourself. So eat a little, move on. All right, so to start wrapping up, I want to kind of bring in the core principles that we live by here at Strength and Honor. So add more whole foods into your diet. Whole foods means I'm going to shop the perimeter of the store and avoid the more convenient processed stuff that's in the middle. Focus on balance. Again, that plate method, protein, carbs, fat, and limit the amount of sugar. Yes, I know I just got done saying enjoy your treats, and I mean it, but here's a crazy thing. So the AHA recommends no more than 24 grams of sugar for women and 36 grams of added sugar for men each day. That's about 6 or 9 teaspoons, respectively. The average American consumes nearly 6 times that amount in a single day. Sugar's everywhere. Kim and I were talking earlier, it's hidden in your tomato sauce. I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and it was in chicken sausage. It's everywhere. It's called a million different things. It is incredibly hard to avoid, but you can be knowledgeable and mindful and read those labels and understand where it might be creeping in to your diet. So today we learned the 5 steps of navigating a healthy holiday. Remember, start with your why. If you didn't have a chance to finish it, go back tonight. Don't let it sit until tomorrow. Take that first step, do it tonight. Start with your why, stay consistent, plan ahead, use the plate method, and be mindful. So I'd like to open up the floor for Q&A. Anybody have questions online? Shoot them in the chat, in the room, shout them out. Yeah.
to the starchy vegetables and non-starchy vegetables, is there an easy way to know the difference?
There is, you send me a message and I will send you a lovely little guide that you can follow. It's easier than trying to list them all
Yeah.
here.
I mean, potatoes, for instance.
Potatoes would be starchy, yeah. But if you talking non-starchy, we're looking zucchini, dark leafy greens, peppers, cucumbers. Starchier ones are gonna be more of like the potato,
Like
and
earthy things.
I'm sorry,
Like earthy things, like beets maybe.
rice. Rice would be another one. But rice is a grain, sorry, carbohydrate. I can send you a full list. We can pull it up here in a
Corn.
few. Corn, I don't even count as a vegetable.
Right.
Sorry, any corn lovers, but it doesn't really count as a vegetable. But non-starchy ones would be broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. Those are a good bunch to get started with. But like I said, I'll send you a full list, no problem. Anybody else?
Best way to read a label.
Carefully.
There's so much in it now, like you said, all the names for something are so
Yeah.
different for what is what.
Yeah, so the question, I don't know if everyone can hear it, what's the best way to read a label? Less is more on a label. If you have to squint and read the tiny print, it's probably something you should put back, just as a general rule of thumb. When you're looking at sugar, you want to look at the total sugar and added sugar, right? So sugar in the form of fruit, great. Sugar in the form of a fruit juice, not as great. So look for what the added sugar is. And then in the label below, there are things like inulin, anything that ends in like allulose, right? So there are words and phrases that are just twisted and turned, fructose,
Right.
right? So general rule, the easiest thing, if you pick it up and you're squinting, put it down. Look at the total added sugars and then start to learn and educate. And I can help you with that on what the different varieties are. There are hundreds of words for sugar. It's crazy. So, any other questions? Anybody online? Online looks good. Facebook is just pumping. Thanks for being dedicated.
You know,
So, oh yeah, go ahead.
I had a question, like my thought right now is just, just being more healthy. To like prevent injuries.
Mhm.
I like to work outside, I like doing stuff. So in terms of looking at being more healthy, what should be like the focus, like eating less or like just going straight into exercise,
So it's a great question, Alvin. So the question is, how can you most efficiently address your whole health? Is that a fair
Yes.
summary? So it's going to depend on the person. It's going to depend on where you are, your physical nature, where you are with your eating habits currently, right? So being able to identify a few places to start with your food is good. So I know your family. For you guys, my suggestion is you increase your protein. Okay. Body movement, we've got to make time for it. We've got to find a way to get out there and get those walks in, because once we get the walks in, or even, some jacks or something, then we can start talking about how do we now incorporate resistance and strength training. And that's where the injury prevention comes into play. So when I started at Strength and Honor, like 2.5 years ago, my kids were training with Steve for quite a few years before that. I decided to go train with him. My husband said, you're the best version of yourself when you're working out. Please go do something. So I did. I suffered from chronic back pain for more years than I can count. Working with Steve in a very prescriptive program over the last 2.5 years, I don't have any back pain. What the problem wasn't my back. It wasn't even my core. Together, through my workouts and through training with him, he identified it was my glutes. So we had to get the glute muscle working, but I had to start somewhere. Walking, resistance training, prescribed programming. Is that helpful?
yeah.
Okay. And for anybody who's watching that doesn't know, and I can't remember if I said this when we were recording or not, but our programs are all virtual. So you can get your training customized to you for whatever equipment you have. If you belong to a gym, fantastic. If you have a home gym, fantastic. What does that enable you to do? Work within your limits, work within your schedule. You're not bound to a class, and it is for you specifically. So the wellness and the fitness are both like that because we want to make it accessible. It shouldn't be a barrier. So I hope that helps. Okay.
And in terms of the plate method, any suggestions for like meat lovers? Because I know the meat section looks really small. And I love meat, so.
All of a sudden Alvin comes home with new plates. Look at what we can fill now. So in the onboarding material that you guys got, there is the hand portion guide. So a hand portion guide is going to help you kind of break down that plate into one step further, right? So protein, those of you with big hands, you're lucky, the size of your palm. The carb is half. Veggies, 1 to 2 fistfuls. You really can't go wrong with the veggies. But I think, Alvin, starting with your vegetables, then moving to the right amount of protein, I think that's going to help you to kind of reshape that, right? And also kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, instead of having chicken fried rice or even cauliflower fried rice, have chicken, have rice, have vegetables. Deconstructing, that's the word I was trying to go for, right? Because then you have more control over how much actual protein you're getting. Eventually, when you've done it time and time, you're going to recognize it and be able to do it just off the top of your head. But starting out, let's take the guesswork out, right? You always have your hands with you. So put that on the plate first and then build around it. Good questions. Thank you.
And I think the other thing that's helping us is not making more than like just for 3 people. Because as soon as I see more, then I'm just like going nuts. But as soon as we make just enough for the 3 of us for 1 serving, that's definitely helping out, because then I know like, okay, there isn't any more, and I'm good.
Right.
You know, so.
And that's a great tip. Even if you do meal prep and have stuff left over, plate your food, put it away, right? So it's a great strategy to use, either cook within the moment or plate within the moment and put the rest of that stuff away. All right, so there's never a perfect time to start. That literally was the conversation when we all walked in the room this morning. Something's always going to come up, something's always going to get in the way, there's always going to be an excuse. You have to commit to yourself. When we think about it, it's simple, but it's not easy. And that's why we're here to help. Accountability, support, guidance, customization. If you're thinking, sure, Joel, it all sounds great, but I really don't even know where to start, make it really simple for you. Contact me. We're going to get on a call, 5-10 minutes long. I'm going to learn a little bit more about you. I'm going to determine if we have a program that can support you. And if we are, we'll move forward into the next steps that identify more of what you're looking for and what we can provide. And you can email us, you can DM, you've all got codes in the back of the workbook that you can scan to schedule that call. So no excuses, you have a million ways to get in touch with me. So took that one out, nice try. But because it is the holiday season and because we want you to start sooner versus later, we're actually going to be offering 25% off our custom programs for anybody that signs up before December 19th. Now, for everybody who's already a current customer, we will take care of you too. There is nothing worse than promotions that only apply to new people. We value you. We love having you as part of our team. So during our one-on-ones, we're going to talk about what that looks like for you. But you got to sign up before 12/19. We're going to get you started. Doesn't mean we're going to come in heavy hitting, but we're going to get you set up. We're going to get you prepared. You're going to smash the holidays and you're going to start the new year ahead of where you would have been if you didn't. So thank you all for your time. My apologies again for my technical glitches, but I'm a nutrition coach, not IT. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I hope that it will eliminate some of the struggles that you've seen in the past. And I hope you're leaving feeling confident with these 5 tips.
Everybody's saying this is great. Thank you for tonight. So,
You're all very welcome. And I will send out that free recipe ebook for everybody. Just a variety of recipes in there. food is my love language. So anytime you want to talk food or recipes, I'm your girl. Bye, everybody online.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Oh, I think I gotta go this way.
Bye, ladies. See you tomorrow.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
I actually have no idea where we are. Okay, hit end. That could still be.
Why am
on.
I always on your